Hello, this is Annika Knudsen for Introduction to Jazz with Mr. Jones, and this is a presentation on Django Reinhardt. All right, Django Reinhardt was born in 1910 and died in 1953. He was one of the most celebrated jazz artists of the 20th century. He was born to a family of traveling manouche entertainers in Belgium near the French border, and Reinhardt continued to wander throughout his life, including a brief tour in the US with Duke Ellington's orchestra as a guitar soloist. He started to gain attention in the 1930s, especially after World War II soldiers brought his records back home with them. And he is considered one of the pioneers of guitar as a solo lead instrument in jazz music. I'm so nervous. Okay. As a child, Reinhardt played the violin and took up the banjo guitar at 12. He performed with ensembles in French cafes. They were little musettes that were ensembles of around 5 people. They were relatively small, but they were mostly acoustic because a cafe is very small and you don't want to have the... Anyway, sorry. Reinhardt remained functionally illiterate for most of his life and didn't write sheet music, but he made many recordings and more than 50 compositions. He suffered major injuries from a fire in 1928. It was his wife had made these celluloid flowers that she was planning to sell, and then I believe candles made them the caravan flames. I promise I know what I'm talking about. Moving on. He suffered major injuries from that fire in 1928, rendering 2 of his fingers permanently damaged. Reinhardt spent 2 years recovering, and because of the injury, switched over from the banjo guitar to steel string guitar, and he learned a new play style to compensate. Most people believe that he made that switch because the strings didn't require as much pressure, and so it was easier to play with with the capabilities that his hand could manage. And then after a career lasting 25 years, he passed away from a brain hemorrhage in 1953. Up to his death, he was one of the most celebrated jazz guitar soloists of his time. He was wicked fast. Okay. Reinhardt's professional career started at 12, the musettes in the French cafes. He played with multiple different people over that time. And then after he had switched to the steel string guitar, he formed a group in 1934 with Stéphane Grappelli, the Quintet du Hot Club de France. The Grappelli was a violinist, and they had, I believe, other string instruments as well in that group. Over the course of his career, Reinhardt played with many jazz legends, including Louis Armstrong, Coleman Hawkins, Eddie South, and Duke Ellington. And then over the course of his life, he recorded over 900 tracks. That is so many tracks. All right. And if I understand how to do this in post, I'll start playing the video as I'm doing the talking. Who knows? So even with limited mobility in the 2 fingers, Reinhardt's style was lightning quick. In Limehouse Blues, he showcases elegant arpeggios in a cascading sort of swiftness. And listen for the guitar taking center stage, the stride rhythms that bolster Reinhardt's solo, and the frenetic pace of the music. And then during the war years, Grappelli and Reinhardt were in different countries. Grappelli was in London and Reinhardt was in France, I believe, which led Reinhardt to experiment with composing. Nuages. I don't know how to say it, it's fine. Nuages. He showcases a melancholy melody while preserving his signature speed. Listen for the minor key, dissonant harmonies, and rhythmic syncopation. The blue notes are particularly soulful. And then there's also an introduction portion that's very interesting. You'll hear it. You play it. Anyway. I promise I know what I'm talking about. All right. Django Reinhardt left a lasting influence on guitarists and jazz, his improvisational genius paving the way for guitar as a solo lead instrument in jazz pieces. He was the originator of manouche jazz, also called gypsy jazz or hot club jazz, though he did not consider his playstyle a new genre. This genre is often recreated. Also, side note, a contemporary of his also said that he did not play that style. It is mostly considered inspired by his style, not something that he deliberately created himself. His unique playing style led to musicians exploring chord voicings, stylistic arpeggios, and rapid chromatic runs that affected jazz as well as other musical genres, including rock and roll. All right. In summary, Django Reinhardt was perhaps the most influential jazz guitarist of his time, playing with multiple jazz legends and showcasing his own genius on more than 900 tracks. Despite the damage to his fingers, Reinhardt's fast play style influenced so many musicians that it became its own genre. And then he earned his place high in the annals of jazz history, due in part to his talent and unique play style, and in part his extensive catalog of recordings. And then here's my works cited. I'm assuming that I have that on the screen right now. It's really cool. Yay, okay. Thank you so much. So sorry for the flubs. I don't know what I'm doing, but I promise I know what I'm talking about. Yay! Oh no. Okay, have a good day.